professionals are going to ask in 5 minutes. That's all I say. All right.
So, Doc, did you feel like you had to say anything to your team after the first quarter when you guys are down by 3?
No, I didn't say much at all. You know, we were scoring, but our defense was not great. We wasn't pulled in. The second unit was great, though. You know, they saw what we were not doing, and they came in and did it, and then everyone joined in. So, you know, listen, it takes time sometimes to win a game. You don't just jump out and win a game, no matter who you're playing. You know, they have all the injuries, and they're young, and, you know, they're going through a lot of stuff. I've been on that side, so I understand what they're going through.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it just seems like when J.J. Redick gets going early in a game, he normally has a big game. Is that a point of emphasis that you kind of know?
Yeah. Well, we did it all last year. This year, you know, we've tried to do it. He just wasn't making shots. And, you know, like I said earlier, J.J.'s a great shooter. He hasn't forgotten how to shoot. Eventually the ball's going to go in. And finally it's starting to go in for him. And when he scores like that with our starting unit, and then you bring Jamal in, we become a really good offensive team. And that's basically what's happened.
You've blown some teams out now. There was a time there where if you were up by 20, you'd lose at least. Can you pinpoint?
No, and I don't worry about it, honestly. I don't care. I mean, I want to win the game. Like, if we had won by 10, I'm sure I'd have been upset that we didn't play well. But at the end of the day, you're trying to. It's a competition. You're trying to have a winner and a loser, and we want to be the winner. You know, for whatever reason, this year it just seems like we've been judged on style points. You know, if we win by 30, then it's something. You know, so the way I'm looking at us is I just want to keep getting better. Today was good. You know, and I honestly, if you had to pinpoint why, I think we're better than we were early in the year, and we're going to keep getting better. And I just think our offense is so much better. I think we scored 9 or 10 points more a game on the road, on this road trip. And, you know, but I still go back to we were missing open shots, and we're making open shots now. And once you start making open shots, then the defense has to react to that, and it allows other things to happen for you. So I think that's the main reason.
How much of an important player is Spencer Hawes become with this team? I know he shot the 3-ball really well.
Yeah, he's great for us because, you know, this league has kind of changed where the 4 is the stretch guy, and now we have a 5 that is a stretch guy. And so it's just abnormal defensively for teams to adjust to a 5 standing behind the 3. I think the league, we've gotten pretty used to guarding 4s, but it's still hard for us to guard 5s behind the 3. So that's what he does for us. He can stretch the floor, and he's starting to do that.
In Utah, your starters led the way. Here, they had a rough first quarter. Event comes
Yeah.
in. Are they playing better, like with each other, against each other, kind of the flow of the game?
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. If you look at the road trip, that's how the road trip went. One game, our starters played great, and then you know, you look at Orlando, our starters struggled early, and our bench came in and played great. You looked at Miami, our starters were great, and our bench was awful. The game the other night in Utah, I mean, it's been. I would like both units to play well one game, the whole game. That would be great. But you know, I need something to look at, and that's one thing we have to. We still have to, even though our bench has been up and down, we have to get them more consistent. That's for sure.
Doc, you were talking about hitting open shots. What's the key to that and maintaining it?
Well,
forward?
the key to it is the good shooters get shots. You know, and listen, I don't worry. When Jamal and JJ miss open shots, I have no concern with that. I don't worry about it. They're good shooters, and they'll go in. If they get enough of them, more will go in over the long haul of the season than not. It also shows, I will say this, especially in JJ's case, when he's getting shots, it means we're having great ball movement. When he's not getting shots, it usually means we're not moving the ball very well. Jamal can get his own shot. JJ is dependent on ball movement. And so when the ball's moving, he gets shots.
Some guys only hit 3s when they have wide open looks. You look at Redick tonight, twice he made him when he was fouled behind the arc.
Yeah,
Another time
you learned that from Jamal.
That fadeaway on the sideline in the second half when he fell backwards, he made that one too. And
Yeah,
in his face
he made shots. You know, that's what JJ does. And I think he's, you know, I thought he was running almost too fast earlier, and now he's starting to run. I thought that one that was the 4-point play, I don't even know if he made the free throw. I don't remember anymore, but I thought that was, I heard like 4 coaches said the perfect pace, finally. Instead of, I mean, he goes so fast sometimes. It's hard to shoot at that speed, and I think he's starting to figure out his pace again.
You've talked about Blake being a good passer, especially recently on the
Great
road.
passer.
How much has his ball handling been directly responsible for a lot of those?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge because you already have a great passer, maybe the best passer in the league in CP. And then when you're dropping it off to another passer who's making decisions and scoring, it makes it hard to guard you.
How much of an emphasis is that for Blake to become a passer as well as all the other things that he does do?
I just ask him to do everything. You know, really, Blake has a full plate. You think about it. We need you to take jump shots. We need you to post. We need you to pass. We need you to rebound. We need you to defend. We need you to push the ball up the floor. He's got a large plate, you know, and he handles it well. He's young. USC, are you ready? All right.
You talk about wanting to get even better. Even after a blowout victory like this, when you walk off the court, is it still easy for you to see some of the things you could have done better, and what were those?
Oh, yeah, there are always things. You know, the start of the game is one. We didn't start out the game very well. You know, down the stretch, even though the second unit was on the floor, those guys may help you in a game, especially I always look at in a playoff game. One game, you may need a guy to be in the right spot, and there were several times we were not defensively. And so, unfortunately for them, when we watch film, that'll be pointed out. You can ask more than one.
You talk about Andrew Wiggins and what you thought of him first time.
Yeah, you know, it's my first time seeing him in person. I've seen him on film. You know, he's going to be terrific. He's just so athletic. He's trying to figure it out. You can see that. You can almost feel him thinking on the floor, which is never good in an NBA game. But that's most young guys. You know, it just takes them time. And, you know, he's on a young team. So it's going to be harder for him. It's going to take a while, but he's going to be special.
How do you see the future shaping up for a team like Minnesota with so many young guys?
It all depends. You know, it's so hard. I went through that in Boston and in Orlando, and it's the luck of the draw. You hope you can swing a good trade eventually. I think all those young guys, Muhammad is playing great now. You know, Levine's going to be a good player. Wiggins obviously is going to be a good player. It's so many of them, you know, and it's really hard. But I think over the haul, you know, Flip will end up getting young guys and veterans and having the right mix. That's the whole key. We don't want them to get too good. You know, they're in the West.
You had a little bit of concern before the game about coming back home after a long road trip, but you guys really took control of this game in the third, didn't look back. What's it say about your team's consistency to win 5 consecutive times?
Oh, well, that's great. I didn't even actually know that. So that's great. You know, I think we're winning the games we should win, honestly, which is very important, especially in the West. And just keeping our focus. We know that there's a long road ahead of us, and we know to where we want to go, there's a lot of work to do, and I think our guys are starting to commit to that work, and you can see that they're zeroing in on it.
Were you cheering up Gronkowski after?
Oh, yeah, I brought him in the locker room, because we have a lot of Cowboy fans, which I clearly don't get that. So I brought all the Pats in to show them what a football team looked like. That's what I told them, so. All right.
How would you compare this Clippers team to some of the teams you coached in Boston?
They're just so different. You know, someone asked me that last year. They're completely different teams. You know, good question. They're so young. They're so much younger. You know, the Boston team, that was a veteran group. You know, so this is just a different group. Both very talented.
You guys went 6-1 in the East, and the Warriors also had a nice streak. How hard is it playing in the West?
The West is hard, you know, and that's why when you go East, you better win. You know, we had an East-West trip this last one. I think, what did we have, 3 West games, 4 East games? It was a strange trip. I don't think I've ever been on anything like that, to be honest. But it's, you know, listen, every night, every team in the West knows that they need to win the game. And usually that starts after game 50, you know, when people start looking at the games, and it's already started. Like, everyone's trying to win because we don't know what the number is to get in, you know, so you have to win every game you can. Thanks, everyone. Jay, nice to